Bringing up to the Livestream lounge is Brian Zapp. Brian, how are you? I'm pretty good.
Yeah, great to see you.
Brian Zapp is the Director of Marketing for Applied Food Sciences. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
How's your BevNet Live going?
Great show. Thanks for having us out. It's amazing to see what you guys do year in and year out. Just continuing to grow this show.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I want to talk a little bit about what AFS does. Can you give us sort of the boilerplate on the company?
Yeah, of course. So what we specialize is in organic, functional ingredients that are also designed to work specifically with beverages.
So you're big into sustainable sourcing. That's a real important area of focus for the company. Tell us, how you're trying to advance what you're offering for beverage companies.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. When you think of high quality ingredients, for us, it really entails the quality and how everything occurs, from how it's grown to how the people who farm it are treated to how it's extracted and then finally how it's presented in the final product. What a lot of consumers are saying is, well, that sounds great, but show me, don't tell me, right? Which is difficult to do. For us, we actually go to the site location in which all our ingredients are sourced. The inconvenient reality is that in a lot of these countries, the environment is easily taken advantage of, and so too are the people. And for things like coffee and tea, it's all done by hand.
Right.
So in order to create an initiative that really takes care of these people, that's really a big part of the whole sustainability picture. So for us, it really kind of comes down to three things. It's sustainable growing. Is the crop itself grown in such a way that it takes care of the environment, that it's aware of potential contaminants, and that this is something that can be replicated for our children or our children's children. And then the second part is really, is it responsibly grown? So the hands that touch it, how are they being taken care of? How are they being treated? Is it fair in the way they're hiring, fair in the way they're being paid? Do they have health care? A lot of complicated things that we have to constantly be auditing and approaching in many different countries with so many different challenges and infrastructure. And then the last thing is just really that traceability or transparency piece. So again, the consumer's saying, show me, don't tell me. Well, how can we show in such a transparent way that we as an ingredient supplier can give this story to our customers and manufacturers that can adopt it and pass it on to the consumers? So it's a lot of challenging pieces to really accomplish those three steps.
And Brian, I mean, that's like an amazing thing to do and really what more companies need to be doing, but it's not easy and it's not cheap. How do you approach, doing sustainability on that large a scale?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It is very challenging. I mean, last year we qualified 23 new farms for alone. Yeah. And that's a very labor-intensive project. For us, we start to partner with very smart companies that are in these regions. So for instance, India, a lot of our coffee is grown there. We really start to build a trusting relationship. Of course, we have to see it for our own eyes, but then we also have a third party come in and audit these farms. So depending on the scale of which types of things we're looking after, it could be things like, how is the coffee grown? Is it shade grown? Are there other potential contaminants? Of course, no pesticides.
Right.
Just, there's probably 30 to 50 different target items on each of these audit sheets.
And you said, part of what you're trying to do is, show me, don't just tell me. Are you involved in the marketing end of some of these efforts? I mean, are you creating videos? Are you creating copy that help to, or that these brands can use in their own marketing communication efforts?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of our initiatives really for 2018 is to partner with some other technology companies in creating a group of assets really. I mean, sometimes customers will come with us, visit the farms themselves, bring their own crew, and make beautiful demonstrations of here's exactly where our ingredients come from. Well, the reality is not everybody can do that.
Right.
So I'm there. I come, we bring some filming equipment, we start to demonstrate this story behind our ingredient, and now we're working with some technology companies to help package that into something that can be shared on their websites, on their ingredients page, on their social media, and really just demonstrate that we own this ingredient, but we also own the story behind it, and that's reflected 100% true. We can show that in a paper trail, we can show that in documentation, but visuals really show the consumer.
Indeed. It's interesting, you know, Brad mentioned that we saw a lot of great speakers from coffee companies this morning, and we're going to hear from some more tomorrow. And one of the things that AFS does really well is enhancing that coffee roasting experience. You have worked on some significant advances in that arena. Tell us a little about what you're doing there and why you're trying to make the coffee or how you're making the coffee taste better.
Yeah, well, it's actually very interesting. Coffee is packed full of nutritional compounds, especially the antioxidant chlorogenic acids. It's one of the most bioavailable antioxidants in the world. The problem is when you roast it at such high temperatures, you destroy these compounds. So what we've actually done is, with our extraction background, is we extract the antioxidants prior to roasting the coffee beans. And then at a certain stage in the roasting process, when the cell walls are open, we quench those antioxidants back into the beans. So the net result is a roasted coffee product with 200% more antioxidants than otherwise roasted coffees.
Wow.
So this is, you know, something we have 2 patents on. The secondary benefit of this roasting process is what we call the stomach-friendly.
Right.
And so stomach-friendly roasting really is that by keeping these chlorogenic acids in the coffee, it's much easier on the stomach to digest. Something like 1/3 of all coffee drinkers can't regularly drink coffee due to stomach irritation. They call it acidity, but acidity is kind of a funny way to put it. The reality is that coffee is an irritant, and it's that irritation in the stomach that causes that acid stomach secretion. So with our coffee, it actually mitigates some of this stomach acid irritation, causing that stomach roasting or friendly stomach approach.
Very interesting.
But what does this process do for flavor?
Yeah, well, so it doesn't change the flavor actually at all. It keeps, you know, depending on whether you want a Robusto, you know, Robusto Maxwell House Folgers coffee, or whether you want gourmet Arabica coffee, like most people would imagine. It actually doesn't change the flavor profile. It's just simply a methodology in roasting the coffee that keeps the nutritional compounds inherent within the coffee, keeps them from roasting out.
We've got about a minute left, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about some other things that you're working on. You know, how are you helping beverage brands sort of advance their innovation strategies, formulate their innovation strategies, and what are you doing to take them to the next level with their line and brand extensions?
Yeah, thanks. You know, one of the things I've seen a lot of here at the show is ginger and turmeric.
Sure.
And I think in the first hour I saw 3 or 4 brands.
You got to come to our office in Watertown. That's all we drink.
Right. Well, so ginger and turmeric are interesting because they're not water soluble,
right.
But yet all these beverage brands have it in their product. So the challenge is they have to get it in a liquid form, usually a puree or a concentrate, which also entails frozen shipping, frozen storage, compromised shelf life, stuff like that. Well, what we've actually been working on is designing 2 extracts, an organic ginger and organic turmeric extract, that's shelf-stable and fully water-soluble. So it can be added to beverages, and in our cost models becomes a fraction of the cost, especially when you think of the overhead, the processing, the shipping, the storage, all that. Here's an extract that with a 2-year shelf life that's fully water-soluble, fully 100% non-GMO, organic, all that stuff, can bring an amazing flavor profile without sacrificing the nutritional benefits either. And that could be a game changer for these beverages looking to incorporate ginger and turmeric.
Absolutely. Can you please send samples to our office?
Yeah.
Drums would be great.
Absolutely.
Drums, yes.
We'll definitely do that. Thanks.
Outstanding. Brian, it's been so great talking with you. Thank you
Great.
so much for everything you're doing for this industry.
Absolutely. Thank you.